Hey boys and girls, I'm gonna tell you a story of when I broke my penis. Okay, this is the story of when I broke my penis. I didn't necessarily break it. I did tear it when I was having sexual activities with this girl I was dating a while back. This was probably 10 years ago. So what happened was underneath the head of my penis, it got ripped, the skin got ripped, and it was bleeding a lot, and I was telling my coworker this, that it happened like 2 days ago, and he was like, dude, you should go see a doctor. I didn't know how doctors worked back then, so I went to the clinic, this walk-in clinic. That was a weird experience, this walk-in clinic. I remember the waiting room smelled so bad, it smelled like pee, and like, why does the waiting room smell like pee? Shouldn't the bathroom smell like pee? It just smelled like pee. So anyway, when I was talking to the nurse about my problem, when she was writing down all the info, like what happened, why I'm there to see the doctor, blah, blah, blah. So I was telling her what happened, that my penis, it got torn, it got ripped, and that's what I'm there for. It happened during a sexual activity. And she was like, okay, I'll write that down. Male or female? Do you prefer male or female? And I was like, oh, female. I prefer female. And she was like, female? You prefer female? And I was like, what? I don't? What? Why do you assume that I don't like females? And then she was like, "Why, you want to see a female doctor?" And I was like, "Oh, you meant, do I prefer a male doctor or a female doctor to look at my penis?" But I didn't want to sound homophobic, so I said, "Male doctor." I changed my answer, male doctor. And even though I would rather have a female doctor look at my penis, so they let me in to see the doctor. And this doctor was like a young guy. He had a thick Eastern European accent. And I had a hard time understanding what he was talking about most of the time. And he was like, so put this gown on. And then he closed the curtain and then also left the room. And then I was like, that's weird. Why would you close the curtain and walk out of the room for me to change it to this gown when you're gonna be looking at my penis the whole time? So I get dressed into the gown, he comes back in, and then he pulls up my gown and looks at my penis, and he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, does it hurt when I touch here? And I was like, oh, yeah, it hurts. And he was like, does it hurt when I touch here? And I was like, yeah, and it was, I think it was the same spot. I think he poked at the same spot. I don't know. He kept asking me, does it hurt here? And I was like, yeah, it hurts there. You just touched that 3 times. That's the same spot. And he was like, okay, I think you're gonna be fine, but I can soldier it for you. And I was like, soldier it for me? And he was like, yeah, I can soldier it for you, you know, soldier it. And I was like, you mean with like a hot iron, the soldering? He's like, no, like suturing. And I was like, oh, you mean like sewing, suturing? And I was like, no, I don't want that either. If you think my penis is gonna be fine, I don't want extra stabbing, needling. He was like, okay, well, fine, but I would like this more experienced doctor to come look at it, to give a second look. And I was like, okay, sure. So then this older doctor comes in and he takes a look at my penis, and then he's like, does it hurt here? And I was like, yeah, that hurts here. He's like, looks like it'll be fine. So then the younger doctor says, okay, you can get dressed. And then he like closes the curtain and leaves the room. And I'm like, that's weird because you already saw my penis. Why you gotta close the curtain and leave the room? Anyway, so as I was putting my clothes back on, I have my pants up halfway up my legs. The doctor comes running back, the young doctor. He's like, rips open the curtains. He's like, okay, I just gotta ask one more question. were you bitten by a snake? I was like, a snake? And he's like, yeah, because people come in here and sometimes weird stuff happens, but they don't want to be honest with us. But you could be honest with me because it's very dangerous if you got bitten by a snake. I was like, no, I didn't get bit by a snake, but why did he think, did it really look like my penis was bitten by a snake? A week or two later, my friend Shanali invited me out to this storytelling event, and she asked me to tell the story, and so I told it in front of a good amount of people. It got a few laughs and stuff. It was my first time telling a story in front of people. So another week passes. I'm at the Mercury Lounge at the secret show where the Shins are playing under a fake band name. Eugene Merman, the comedian, he's opening up, and he's saying, I need someone to go up on stage and introduce me. And then Shanali's like, you should have Jason introduce you. And then Eugene's like, nah, I don't want him to start talking about his broken dick. Little did he know that the girl who broke my dick was sitting right next to me, and she was staring at me like, who did you tell? Did you tell everybody? And I was like, no, I didn't tell everybody. I did tell like 50, 70 people on stage like a week ago. I didn't tell everybody. I guess now I told everybody by making this video.